Good evening, everybody. I am Robbie with the Nerd Cave Network, joined along with
Zach Dykes. Hey, Robbie.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. You?
Doing well.
Awesome.
Today, what you're seeing right now is going to be a snippet of the podcast that we will be doing tonight. We'll be having a crossover episode with our friends.
The Pop Culture Palate.
Yes.
Steve Scott,
which is a great comic book artist. Like, I saw some of his work that he was doing last night, and it's amazing.
He's worked on Batman, X-Men, Future People. It's amazing. He's a really good guy and really funny and also nerdy.
And also, Wallace Phelps.
Yep. I always want to call him Wally West because that's the Flash. But Wally is a stand-up comedian.
And I've listened to a lot of PCP. And, he's funny on PCP, so I can only imagine what he does with his stand-up.
Yeah, where he doesn't have to compete with space.
I know.
But, I like Wally. And then you have Jason Robbins.
Last but not least.
Yeah, Jason Robbins is a great guy. He's been on several different podcasts, and he's also a drummer for a few bands. He's been in a big band. I can't remember the name.
I can't remember the name, but I've listened to a lot of their
Grace
songs.
Falls or something like that.
I think it's something like that. But they're great. I've listened to a lot of their songs.
He's also an illustrator.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be talking about on this podcast today is
My girlfriend was walking by. It was hilarious.
Yeah. It happens.
It happens.
But we'll be reviewing some shows that we watched. I watched them a couple weeks ago and reviewed them on the last. But Zach just recently watched Gods and Monsters
from DC Animated, and that was really interesting. It's a whole different take on the Trinity, which is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and none of them are...
Don't give it too much away.
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying none of them are your normal Batman, Superman, and
It's not
Wonder
what
Woman.
you think when you think of the big three.
So the whole origin for each one of them, and I think they handled the origin for all three of them very tastefully and very well to understand what they were coming from and everything. So I enjoyed the movie a lot. It's going in the vein that most of them are going now, where it's a little bit more mature, not overly mature, but it has more blood and gore, which is enjoyable because they're not afraid to kill in this movie.
Yeah.
They're not your normal superheroes, but the take on it, how things happen, is very interesting. Seeing Lex Luthor in a different light was pretty cool as well.
I like that.
So I enjoyed it a lot. And Throne of Atlantis, I haven't finished it yet, but it reminds me of a lot of Jeff Johns' Aquaman run, which was an amazing run.
I haven't read it, but I have watched it all the way through, and I, for one, loved everything about that one. How it was not the origin story, but it kind of showed how Aquaman took the throne and everything, and I liked how he had the outfit on, and it was like too much.
And he
took it off, and then that was like
right there. Perfect.
That's Aquaman.
And one thing that was cool was Black Manta. He was cool.
Watching the old time Justice League series that used to come on,
The Super Friends.
Yeah. And the Legion of Doom, he was always I thought he was just the coolest.
Yeah.
So
and
getting to see
you
him,
never knew anything about him. You just knew he was Black Manta, and he was Aquaman's rival.
Exactly.
That was really
and then
it.
you got to interact with him a little bit more, which was really cool. All in all,
and you understand why he has the helmet on. He's not necessarily an Atlantean. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And
so
I haven't finished it, but it's interesting. Like I said, it's sort of like Jeff Johns' run on Aquaman, which made Aquaman more of a character that you could like and understand. And he's not just this pansy that, popular media has made him out to be, where out of order, he can't do anything. He's pretty much Superman, but he doesn't have heat vision and all of that. And it takes his strengths and makes them cool, and takes some things that you didn't know per se and makes them known and everything. So
I'm going to be talking about Year One. I watched it last night actually. Being able to see Gordon and Batman's growth into the characters that they become was really cool to see how he's been gone for 12 years. He comes back and
are you talking
Bruce. Bruce is gone.
Has been gone from Gotham for a while. Yeah,
he comes back, and he sees his town is still crap. Still
and it's
town.
just started to eat itself pretty much.
Yeah, and seeing Gordon having to deal with all that corruption
on the police force with Commissioner Loeb.
Exactly, and he's such a honest man, and you just see him. He starts cleaning house. It's the police department while Batman cleans the streets of Gotham.
Yeah,
which was really cool to see how all that, like the origins of all that started, and like he's like asking his father, "What symbol? What should I use?" And
then Year One is one of my favorite stories written by Frank Miller. Do you know who played Commissioner Gordon in Year One? He likes to break bad.
Oh, it's he played. Oh my gosh, can't think of his name. But he played
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah,
he played Walter White.
Yeah,
he plays Commissioner Gordon. I hope when they do the standalone Batman that they cast Bryan Cranston as Commissioner Gordon, because he has the look for him when he has hair and everything. Since they did a horrible job at casting Lex Luthor, they can at least make up by casting Bryan Cranston as, One of my favorite lines though is when Batman goes to that dinner and he blows up the wall. He's like, "You've eaten well." Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just so awesome.
Talking about the wealth.
Yeah, the wealthy and the corruption. You've eaten well, but
Falcone.
Yeah, Falcone.
And then the police commissioner at the time, and everybody's there, and
it's just perfect.
It was great. I loved it. But you're going to be talking about a certain game that you've been playing.
Yeah, I mentioned it last week about Life is Strange and how me and Amy have been playing this, and the 4th episode came out last Tuesday, the day that last episode dropped, and at the end of episode 3, it was very like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
How is this change going to affect everything? Episode 4, like if you thought the end of episode 3 was kind of like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Episode 4 is just like.
And I love when that happens, when like you think that it can't take it to that another level.
Yeah.
But it just like busts through the floor.
Yeah. And it's all story. It's got some action in it, but it's all story, and that's the thing.
See, that's what I love a mixture of story and action, like a lot of it, kind of like what a Mass Effect is.
Yeah.
But I know you draw heavily upon the story, and so that works out well for you.
And it has action, like the way the last episode ended was just what's going to happen. Like I am jonesing pretty much for the next episode,
Just like my friend from Whataburger.
Yeah, pretty much.
Old
Slickback.
Which you will be, if you tune into the podcast, you'll be hearing some of my
death-defying.
Yeah, because I'm still here. I had a couple of death-defying feats this week.
Yeah.
One was an hour into my birthday, like July 31st was my birthday.
Congratulations. Happy
Thank
birthday. You. How old are you? 10?
26 years that I've escaped the womb of my mother.
You busted free.
But it was, 12 o'clock. It was my birthday, and I just got done DJing. So I
DJ Rob Dahl
coming to you live from the Capitol Wasteland. What? But it was 1 o'clock when one of my almost death incidents happened.
Near death.
So
yeah,
you'll be hearing a lot about that on this podcast because, it's funny. You definitely need to tune in.
Yeah, definitely. And the way you can find it, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and soon to be SoundCloud. If you go to iTunes or Stitcher, you can search Nerd Cave Podcast, the Nerd Cave Podcast, and find us and listen to all of our episodes. We have multiple podcasts on our network.
Yes.
This is not the only one. This is the one that we do. We take a section each week, and this week's a little bit different because it's a crossover, so we're doing this part separate.
Yeah.
But we'll be discussing these things in the episode and everything.
And you definitely want to check out, because we have some great discussions week in and week out about all your favorite things nerdy, from comic books superheroes,
Movies.
games,
Yeah, television.
anything and everything that you nerds like,
Yeah.
Nerdcavians like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
We talk about
relationship advice.
Sure.
You know, if you
I
want
could
that,
tell you what not to do in relationships.
move to Arkansas.
Don't do it.
And
It's a
leave
bad
your
idea.
best friend. Yep. That's what you don't do. Okay. Well, you can find that, like I was saying, on iTunes or Stitcher and soon to be SoundCloud. And if you want to find PCP, you can do the same. They're on iTunes, and I want to say they're on Stitcher as well.
Yes.
They're all part of the Nerd Cave Network. And if you don't have a mobile device and you just have a computer, you can find all of that at nerdcavenetwork.com, where where all your nerdy needs. So
Exactly.
And of course, watch all of our YouTube content that comes out every week. Every Tuesday we have a podcast segment. Every Monday we have a Let's Play, and Thursdays we have our top fives.
Yes.
So make sure you check all of those things out. This has been Zach.
And Robbie.
Have a week.